We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And we have a wonderful regular guest today, Michelle Marie Angel. And we are going to be talking about starseeds. And this should be very interesting. And let me just make a little introduction here. I will bring Michelle on, and then I'm going to welcome Michelle.
Hi, Gail.
Hi. Well, let me go over the what we're going to talk about today, so everybody's clear. As seekers of truth, we navigate through alternative media to find the truth and what resonates with their life path. That's what seekers of truth do. As always, we use discernment to sort out what resonates and what you find of value and put aside the rest. All of us are going through global awakening and transformation. Starseeds are souls who signed up for a mission to help humanity are often drawn to people and information that resonates deep within. There are no accidents. We who gather in mind and spirit while listening to Gail's podcasts are here to support one another. We have much in common. In today's show, we will be reviewing a video with a reminder of the Starseed mission and the soul choice to come and be of service to humanity. More and more activations are occurring. Consider how unique each life is. Everyone has their own special part to play, and it might look like a big purposeful mission, but it is. Let's feel our unity as we take in the message in this show today. Let's really know that we are all loved and supported. Take this dose of encouragement to lift your vibration and empower you to keep moving forward. We are in a field of loving cooperation. Feel it, be it. And let's take it from there. Michelle, who wrote that up, thank you so much for writing that. You have found a wonderful little video that we're going to show part of too, that you should be happy to know that you're not here by accident.
That's right.
You volunteered. You have a purpose and you have a mission, even if you think you don't know what it is at this point in time. And people always have this tendency to think of it as being this huge, big thing, when it might just be all you have to do is be love and spread love and kindness. What do you think, Michelle?
There's so many pieces and parts that we're going to weave together here. It's not just the mission. There's the individual mission, and then there's the whole of humanity. And so, I remember, I want to say this from the beginning, and there's a couple things I'm going to bring together. But when I was 8 years old, I had mentioned this before, but when I was 8 years old, I was disgruntled about, the state of the earth, so to speak. And I just went into sort of a reverie, and I said, get me off this planet. These people are barbarians. Seriously, I was like soul talking. And so then I heard this back very clearly. It was a reminder of my contract, basically. And it said, it was me saying, I want to understand and I want to help. And the response was, you'll have to go through a lot of things, a lot of difficult things. And my soul, at the time I made the contract, I said, yes, I'm willing to do that. So basically, when I was 8 years old, I had a reminder, and that I would go through a lot of things, and that I agreed to it to get the understanding that I needed to be able to help. So, I consciously agreed to go through those things. So that's one piece of this puzzle we're going to go through. And I'm actually going to bring up something. I was at an expo in Gulfport this weekend. And so there's something there I'm going to tie into. And it has to do with speaking to people who don't have the same level of truth research and discernment and think you're crazy or whatever. I'll come into it. So what do you think about that? Did you think that you actually had, volunteered and signed up for every difficult thing you ever went through?
Well, if I did, I must have been crazy at the time.
Well, my best friend, she graduated or, transitioned to the other side. And she was young, in her 40s, and she had very young children, but she was spiritually aware and knew that everything that happens for a purpose, and that we signed up for it. And she would say, what the hell was I thinking when I planned this one? She used to say that all the time. And the poor thing went through holy hell. She had pain. She had, little kids that she was trying to raise and didn't want to leave. And so her youngest one, she was pregnant for her youngest one when she found out she had it. And then she fought it for about 5 or 6 years. And so her little one was, 5 or 6 years old at the time. But she was completely aware and said, what was I thinking when I signed up for this? Because she was aware that she signed up for everything she went through. And she went through, I'm telling you what, I hate to think about it.
Wow. Well, I never felt like I fit in. I have to say that. It was a real struggle to understand why people felt the way they did, or were so judgmental, or were so just lack compassion and understanding for other people. And it never made sense to me, and it would cause big fights in my family and I was always the one usually that left the table crying, because everybody they were right and I was wrong.
The proverbial black sheep, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, we have black sheep gathered here. This is a black sheep sort of gathering, possibly, and actually, it's just, a symbolic term for, truly starseeds and light warriors. I mean, you can really just turn it around and say, we're the brave ones. We're the, we came to do this. We signed up for this. Yeah, there's another Michelle that says black sheep here. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely, that's who we are. But anyway, this one is interesting too. Gypsy Ann. I remember at the age of 8 or 9 walking by the TV my parents were watching. I said, this is all a lie. The news on TV. They looked at me like deers looking at headlights. Wow.
Yeah, definitely a black sheep star.
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Okay,
definitely. So should we show part of that video, because it's really good? It's really
oh yeah. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. This is tells a little bit about our history, how we're here, and how we're on this mission, and how we signed up for this. We're not going to show the whole thing, but the link is in the description, so you can watch what we don't show. But I think you will really like it.
The beginning of what we don't show is sort of like the wars and how humanity was enslaved and how we needed help. So there's a lot of details about what happened and, how we needed help and, what our Starseed ancestry was and stuff like that. So it's very, very good. And I really encourage everyone to watch the whole thing. But I've got it queued up here so that we can watch some of it. And I will just share my screen here. Okay, and tell me when you're ready to go.
Okay, do you have it made real big?
I'll do that first, yes.
Okay,
And when you're ready, I'll turn the sound on and go. Ready?
Here we go.
Okay.
Go. Oh, let me take this.
Another member of the High Council said, "We must travel to Earth and free these beings from bondage and suffering." We listened and we heard much discussion among the wise ones about this matter. One asked, "Do we extend our help outside of the Federation?" Another said, "Earth is not evolved enough to resonate at the 5D level. This is outside of our parameters and maybe it's best we do not get involved." Another council member noted, "The primary tenet of the Galactic Codex is, in alignment with a free will universe, no being or group of beings can interfere in the evolution of any species." After much back and forth discussions, it was finally decided that the correct thing to do was to assist the beings of Earth. Everyone agreed this had to be done, but it seemed to be in direct conflict with the free will tenet of the Galactic Codex. So, how could we do this? The sages asked. The answer came from the wisest of the council when she said, "We cannot interfere directly into the affairs of humans, so the only possible way you will be able to help them is to become one of them." In confusion, we asked, "We do not understand what you mean, Great Councilwoman." She said, "You will have to enter into a human body, and you will have to live as one of them, and under the Galactic Codex, this is the only way you can change their situation without interfering from the outside." She said, "The only way to enter into this human body and live in it is to be born into it as a human infant. Your essence will still be you. However, due to the low vibrations on Earth, your higher abilities will not function so well, so you will have to improvise. What's more," she said, "I have to tell you the truth. The low vibrations of Earth will be in fact harmful, even toxic, to your being, and during a human lifetime it is likely that you will experience some painful and stressful moments. It is the opposite of the perfection you are used to, and it is where angels fear to tread." She said, "You will have to incarnate over and over in a human body there for a long time until your mission is successful and complete, and it's going to take a long time for you to reach a level of spiritual maturity in that human body to be able to have a real effect." After hearing all of this discussion about going to Earth, we were not so enthusiastic at all. In fact, just the opposite. Regardless, later that fateful day, the High Council decreed that the mission to Earth was a go. Things are primarily done by volunteering in the Galactic Federation, so the question was broadcast to all elite members, being addressed by the High Council. Who will go down there? Who will volunteer to go on the mission to Earth to rescue humanity from the darkness? Who is brave enough and who is strong enough to go? She said, "We have assembled you specifically because you are the most elite and the strongest light beings in this universe. Will you go down there?" Well, if you remember that fateful day as we do, you will recall that not one of us said yes. Not one raised their hand and volunteered out of 4.5 billion. To be honest, we thought about what it would feel like to lower our vibration so low to live on Earth, and about all the other not so nice things we would experience. To make it worse, we wouldn't be able to use our higher powers to make things better. So all in all, it was the most frightening thing we had ever considered. Do you remember that moment? Every great story has a twist, so here's one for you. In the great and menti halls of the Pleiades, where we stood that day, I looked over to my right and I saw you standing beside me. The Grand Council of Light said, "We again ask, who will go to Earth and save the beings there? Who will sacrifice everything and go down there?" It was so quiet that fateful day you could hear a pin drop as we all stood side by side in the great halls. There was a silence in heaven for about half an hour. Then all of a sudden I saw you step forward. I saw you raise your hand before the councils of light. I heard you say, "I will go down there. I, for one, will do it," you proclaimed. "I will sacrifice everything and go down from this high place to Earth to save humanity. I will give up my divine royalty, all my supernatural ability, and I will walk with them as one of them, and I will endure what is given to me in that place. I will be a light unto them all, and I will help them find their way. I will help them change the world they live in, and together we will make it a better place for all beings of the earth." When I saw you do this, and when I heard your words, tears filled my eyes, and I too stepped forward with great enthusiasm. I said, "If she will go down there, I will surely go with her. If she is brave enough to go, then I surely am. I will go, and I will sacrifice everything to help the beings of Earth. We tell you the truth. By the end of that fateful day, all 4.5 billion elite star beings who were asked to go to Earth volunteered for the long mission. The decree was then given that a rescue mission to Earth would soon be underway. For a time, we all assembled in the great halls of the Galactic Federation, and we began to plan our mission to Earth. On huge tables, we opened the great scrolls and tablets of light, and we began to create a plan for the journey to Earth. We created blueprints, and we made cosmic contracts and agreements for our mission to Earth. We pre-planned and detailed every event and situation that would happen when we incarnated on Earth in human bodies. Do you remember? You do remember, don't you? As we were all assembled and making a plan for our mission, one said, "In one incarnation, I will be born as an infant to John and Mary, my selected parents, and I will live in this certain Earth city. My parents, especially my mother, will not be very nice to me. When I am 4 years old, I will learn to ride a bicycle," she said. "I will wreck my bike and scar my knees as I learn to ride," she went on. "When I am in Earth school, I will fall in love with this cute boy. He will break my heart when he doesn't love me back the same way." She went on to describe every detail of this incarnation. She even described other incarnations where she would be crippled and in a wheelchair, and in one incarnation where she would have a fateful auto crash. We listened carefully as the expressions changed on our faces, and then we asked, "Are you serious? Why in the world would you go down to Earth and do all of this painful stuff to yourself? Why would you purposefully choose to have such a bad life experience? Why would you do such a thing? We do not understand." And you answered with a smile on your face, "All I know is my perfected self, and I have never experienced duality or the opposite of what I am. I cannot fully know myself until I have experienced and know the opposite of who and what I am. This is why I will do all of this on my journey to Earth," you said. "Our primary reason for coming to Earth was to assist humans in their conscious evolution, but we also had the opportunity to experience the contrast of human duality and evolve in a way that eventually moved us back closer to oneness. When our plans were all made, we were ready to depart for Earth. 3, 2, 1, go." We opened a multi-dimensional doorway in the midst of the Great Hall, and this was our travel way and portal to Earth. At that moment, we all held hands. We took a deep breath, and we jumped into the abyss. As we lowered the vibration of our bodies to levels they had never experienced, We came crashing down through 2-dimensional levels as we fell. As we came down, we smashed through the frequency barriers which separate dimensions, and it was quite painful to say the least. Each of us emerged out of the other side of this tunnel of light, but the 3D Earth side of this tunnel was a female birth tunnel. Our souls had been born inside human bodies as infants, and we were on Earth. There is a caveat about this trip to Earth. It is a multi-dimensional trip, so it works on many levels. A Pleiadian metaphor, a landing on Earth. The first day of your first incarnation on Earth was about 5 million years ago, and on the day you arrived on Earth, the landing was not soft. In fact, you crash-landed your light body ship. When your Merkaba crashed down on Earth that day, your light vehicle was damaged from the impact, and your higher being was knocked out and became completely unconscious. You were stranded on an alien world. You remained in this unconscious state for a millennia. One day, another higher being came up, saw you unconscious, and tapped you on the shoulder and said, "Wake up, you've been asleep for a long time." That being said, "Look and see the great ship that brought you to Earth. It is time to repair the damage to your light vehicle, recharge the fuel cells, and prepare to lift off again back to the heavens from whence you came. It is time to ascend back to the higher realms. It is time to go home." This is where we are, Great One, on your grand journey, right here, right now. And our metaphor has happened, Great One, as you read this message. And this is where we are, Great One, on your grand journey, right here, right now. And our metaphor has happened, Great One, as you read this message. Look closely. You know what happened by now. You know the whole story. You know who you are, what you can do, and where you came from. You know the details of events, even from eons ago, that have all led up to now. You are fully conscious now, and you have evolved your soul. You are ready to return home. Just remember, your prime mission is to assist humanity, and you must wait on them just a bit longer. They are all coming around much faster than you may think now. Humans are closer than ever to being able to receive the story of what really happened. However, we must tell them in a gentle way, and only when they are fully ready to hear it. The galactic wars have since ended, and there is now mostly peace between all star nations. No dark force is controlling planet Earth now, and more light information is beginning to flow to the beings of Earth from the 5th dimension. The light is truth, and this truth is all freedom. As this light continues to permeate the Earth realm, humanity will continue waking up at incredible levels. In Earth year 2015, the Galactic Federation established the Earth Alliance, which is comprised of elite light forces stationed on the surface. They are tasked with moving humans much quicker along the Gamma positive timeline. Large numbers of Earth Alliance beings now hold powerful positions inside world organizations, Earth's governments, and from this inner position, they are indeed affecting great positive change on Earth. Great resets have been recently initiated all around the planet by these magnificent beings, and things are moving fast on the new timeline as this galactic level reset spreads across the world. The primary 5D star nations involved in benevolent service to humanity's ascension right now are the Andromedans, the Arcturians, the Syrians, and the Pleiadians. Be assured that one of these groups is your direct Lyran Homin star family, and this is where you came from before your trip to Earth. You can easily discover which star family you belong to by doing some searches to learn the distant characteristics of each group. Great One, you are an entirely different species than indigenous Earth humans.
Okay, I'm going to end it right there. and stop caring.
It was very moving. It was bringing tears to my eyes, and apparently I wasn't the only one.
I listened to it more than once, and it made what I went through when I was 8 years old, it made sense. I'm like, oh my gosh, all these things that they're agreeing to, I was reminded when I was 8 years old, I made this contract to go through all this stuff. And so one time I was contemplating all the stuff I had been through, and I was like, wow, I've been through suicide. My dad committed suicide. I've been through adoption, and, you know, all these difficult things that had happened in my life. And then at that time I was married, and then I thought, well, I've never been through divorce. And right then I went, oh, and it was almost like soul was telling me, it's on the agenda. It's on the agenda. Anyway,
Get ready.
I totally forgot about that because it didn't happen right away. I was happily married. I didn't see it in reality. You know, it was just when I was in this soulful reflection, it was like, oh, and then I totally forgot. And other things have happened in my life sometimes where I had like these premonitions, and I was aware for a moment, and then I completely forgot, which I had to forget because I had to go through it without the memory. You know what I mean? You can't get the answers to the test and then go take the test, so to speak. But anyway, so I was aware I was going to go through all these difficult things. And I've always seen people who have very difficult lives and thinking, you know, it turns out now, because we have the term starseed. I didn't have that term back then. I guess back then, you know, that's when black sheep was more common term. Now you can just turn black sheep into starseed and realize we are like elite light beings. And there's no accident. If you're watching this video, you are one and have a mission. And we're joining together with resonant souls, people that are essentially on the same team, because we
You're drawn together.
Right. So we're basically on the same mission of saving humanity. And then we each have our unique part, but we work in loving cooperation to assist and support one another. Just like you have this channel and you're having me on, and, you know, I have books for, you know, raising your consciousness and ascension, but nobody would know about them unless, you know, you had me on your show. Because really, this is basically the only or the primary thing that I do to get the word out, that I even have books available for this time in human history, for the ascension, for the deprogramming and reprogramming of consciousness to wake up and discover our true self and be empowered to be creators. So, but if I didn't have you, where would I be? You know, like we all are coming together, I think.
And you're very helpful for me because of the part you play in helping, you know, organize what we're going to talk about as the typical instructor that you are.
I know. I'm so used to doing lesson plans and handouts and everything.
I can see it's just you know, one of those things you just.
It's just in my blood, practically.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. And so that's your role. You're
it is my role. It is my role. Yeah, I've been a teacher, like in public school, in corporate setting, and in spiritual seminars and workshops. And I love developing curriculum and writing books and working with groups. In fact, I taught an in-person class with Starseeds and Light Warriors to bring like-minded people together.
Yes.
And so I decided to make a Zoom class so that people could come worldwide and meet together with other Starseeds. So what I'm doing is I have, yes, we are all connected. And,
Yes.
you know, we love each other. The more we know each other, the more we love each other. And so there is going to be the first Friday of every month, a Starseed Light Warrior Zoom meetup. And so what I'm doing is, if you're watching this show, you can email me and say, I'm a Gail of Gaia guest. And so I'll send you the link for free. Top secret. Just kidding.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for that. Everybody likes it. It's always helpful to especially to go one of the first ones to go free. And I appreciate that very much. And so do my listeners.
So
okay.
the link for the information is in the description box, but it's the first Friday. I believe it's 7:30 to 8:30 Eastern time. You'll have to look it up on the link.
Let me see if I can put it in. I can put it in the chat there. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Let me copy this.
Yeah, so you just send me your email and I'll send you the link, and we'll meet up just like this, and we'll have however many people that want to, just have a chat. It's just a meet up to have a chat and share stories and get connected.
Here we go. There we go.
That's it.
There, it's right there, but it's also in the description. So if you don't get it out of here, it's in the description of the video. So,
Yes.
You can get it from there. Now we've got to answer Jay thought. He is asking a question. And I'm going to throw this one to you, Michelle. How do you tell the phonies from the pros?
Well, that's what your discernment is. Each person has developed their discernment. And so the more you raise your vibration and tune in to absolute truth, you can tell, because you have cognitive dissonance, and they always end up showing themselves, sometimes.
Especially lately.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting more and more blatant all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, too. It is getting more and more blatant all the time. Yes. Yep. That's for
yeah. Clarity come back. Yeah.
And, we're at different stages, and, we each are unique and stuff like that. So, but I'll tell you, how do you tell the phonies from the pros? This is an interesting question too, because this weekend when I went to an event, there was, I spoke to a person. He was another, I sold my books and I did readings, and I had a speaking spot, and I met this other person who was, is an author, and we were just chatting, and I sensed that he was an awake person. And I said,
you can tell.
So what do you know about the excess deaths? And he said, a lot. I know the 12 doctors, the frontline doctors. Mm-hmm. And anyway, told a story about losing a friend because he gave warnings about the, that thing. He gave warnings, and the other person didn't heed the warning and then suffered greatly. And then the other person wouldn't speak to him anymore.
I tried to warn on this platform on YouTube, and they took my entire channel down because of it.
Yeah. And people, that's why I was like this. People start talking in code. You can't even, just like, unless you want to get taken down, you can't even speak freely. But
it's disgusting.
And so, and then another friend of mine, I was talking to her, and she said she met someone, a friend, and she lived in a certain town, moved away, came back, tried to reconnect with her friend, and the friend didn't want to have anything to do with her, pretty much divorced her as a friend because she did not get this, and said she could the person said, I could never forgive you for that, for not getting it. And I never want to be friends with you again.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So people are separating from us, even if we practice unconditional love. Sometimes some of them, will not, want to override differences of opinions and just practice unconditional love. In my life, I have a lot of people.
Acceptance.
I have a lot of people practicing unconditional love, and so we have like both sides of the fence. And you know, it's good. But I have to tell you that when I first, and even more later on, when I first started seeing people going along and, suffocating themselves and covering themselves up and falling for, take this thing and you'll get a donut, or,
Yeah.
you'll get some
Yeah.
free French fries,
Yeah,
you know.
it was sad. It was. I was berated by my family, so
Yep,
because I didn't, and I was told that I was the problem, which was typical. I was used to hearing that.
But that's actually a big division line, and we didn't create the division line. And we can try to practice unconditional love, but there is a division line in mindset, and the group that buys into a hook, line, and sinker, and then the groups that never fell for it at all. It's almost like you can see by people's behavior and choices. I think they mean the phonies from the pros, maybe like the enlightened ones and starseeds from the ones that we're trying to help or whatever.
Yeah.
Or someone pretending that they're one, or just using the name. If somebody just uses a bunch of buzzwords and they don't know what they're talking about, it becomes pretty apparent. I've seen people do that before, try to use buzzwords and be cool and think they know what they're talking about. But, when you listen to them long enough, it's just the buzzwords and there's no inner comprehension. But anyway, so, and I do want to say this, because this is really part of it, and then circle back to what I just said. So when I was when I was young, well, younger than I am now, so that divorce actually happened later, after the same year, but only months after we adopted a child. There was a sudden announcement, there's someone else in my life, and I'm going to leave. And so then a divorce happened. I was devastated. 2 days before, I was telling somebody, oh, I'm so happily married, and da-da-da-da-da. I wish everybody had a marriage this nice. And literally 2 days later, it was like, by the way, I've let someone else into my life, like nonchalant during Christmas shopping. And I'm like, excuse me, what? And then it was like, within a few weeks we were broke up, and, and then we had to separate, and then we got divorced, and it was drama. And I felt like my life, the rug was pulled out from under me. I was in shock. I was in grief. I was like a puddle on the floor. Oh, okay, great, Eileen.
I didn't mean to stop your train of thought.
No. I was
divorce does that sort of thing to you. I've been through it myself.
I was looking at it myself. So anyway, but I just wanted to say that. So I personally had the rug pulled out from under me, and then many years later, I had been in a deep meditation, and I got a communication that the rug's going to be pulled out from under humanity. And I got tears, and I was crying, and I didn't even know what it meant exactly. You know what I mean? And
it's about to happen.
Yeah, and now I know, but you know what it is? So when I was talking to this person, when we were talking about the excess deaths, he said a lot more is going to happen in the next 3 years. And so, because a lot of the effects of that are cumulative, you know what I mean? And then they hit. So, and I thought about that, and I've already had friends and family members pass on, die suddenly. And so when I think about people are going to put 2 and 2 together, and all these people are going to pass on and transition. Now we have to remember that there's no death for the soul, but still on this human 3D plane, when we lose people we love, and how many people have lost spouses, sisters, brothers, children. I know someone that just lost her son from, and she tried to warn him and he did it. And then, a lot of people are getting the turbo cancers and stuff like that. All kinds of the heart thing with the died suddenly. And anyway, that is the rug being pulled out from under humanity, putting 2 and 2 together, all the excess deaths, and that it has been happening, and that apparently it seems it's going to continue to happen. And that is, at the 3D level, and at realizing how many people have grief over that. It is waking people up and is causing evolution, but it's a rug pulled out from under you, all of humanity, because this is happening worldwide.
Yes, it is.
And many people were forced. And
yes. My oldest son was forced. He is responsible for a family of 4 children and a wife. And they said, get the shot or lose your job, basically. And what a horrible choice to have to make. Horrible. Especially when you're knowledgeable.
And then these people make that choice, and instead of losing their job, they lose their life. And then their family doesn't have them at all.
No, at all.
And that's happened so many times. I have seen so many things where people are proudly, presenting that they got their thing. And then the next news article is, I'm sorry, we lost so-and-so. So I think it's going to come out, and it's barely starting to, with AstraZeneca pulling their
I like this.
Off.
I like this. I'm going to put another question up here in a minute, but I like this one. Yesterday's black sheep is today's golden child. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Good one, Betsy. Very good.
Totally.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I was just feeling like, because I've seen these stories and I've seen people turn things around, like Scott Shera, who discovered when his daughter with Down syndrome went to the hospital, they euthanized her, and he knew it, and he started doing all this research, and it's in the protocols to euthanize people. And then, the Brian Artis, and finding out about the remdesivir, and then somebody who was researching all of the nursing home deaths and how they used midazolam and morphine and starved people. I mean, the people know about the.
I wouldn't go to a hospital unless I absolutely have to nowadays, because I tell you what, it's risky. You need an advocate with you, someone who's right there, monitoring and watching everything that they do.
Even then, they get escorted out by police and everything. There's been horrible stories about people trying to advocate. But I went to an event one time, and there were people who had lost loved ones in a hospital, and they were crying and telling their story. And then guess what? These big hospitals use the media to try to put on a false front about how great they are. And there's these big billboards about the same hospitals that were killing these people, with billboards saying, voted best hospital in the world by so-and-so. Yeah, all this different media campaign to say how great they are, when you and I know the truth.
Yeah. Short Order Cook saying their denial about this is so evil. The coercion was insane, and they did it smiling.
Yes. And some people,
and with great authority. Why not?
Some of them are still trying to do it, and they're trying to create the next pandemic.
These people are sick, just like Trump says, and evil.
Right. That's right. Yep.
Okay. Jay Thought has a question here. He wants to know, can your guest explain the soul contracts and what gains are expressed to what parties? Also, what kind of turbulence does the expressing the contract experience? What kind of turbulence? Okay.
If you think of the turbulence of the heart, and mind, the anxiety and pain that way. There's also physical turbulence and, pains and disease and illness and, arthritis and heart problems and, vets losing limbs and, you name it. And
breathing poison air, eating poison food, drinking poison water without knowing it. I mean, because all of us did it for a while before we found out.
Yep. And buying into the mind control program, the television, which is a very much of a MK Ultra mind control thing, where they really know how to manipulate your perception, manipulate your emotions, and manipulate your mind. And they do it with a recipe that's so, it works so much. Also the news, that's why they have actually manufactured lower vibrational thinking and programs, and they've actually manufactured hate. Think of how the hate that they have tried to manufacture through division and lies, and the people that fall for that, they've fallen into traps of deception. And
we're finding out horrific things about every single department, whether it's the healthcare industry, whether it's the judicial industry, whether it's our politicians or our even some of our local office holders.
And what they did over the school boards, what they did to children. And what they've been doing all along to our children, especially starting in 1987, when they increased, the shots and gave them to them in multiple different types at one time, caused so much.
And how many years have they been denying autism as from, and darn good it's from.
And they killed the CDC whistleblower that came out. I mean, I think they did, but because they all get killed. The biggest psyop is the TV. That is right. That is right. My guides, I've had some very good guides. Thank you, guides. I had a guide come through loud and clear one time, and they said, stop watching TV. That was like 24 years ago or 25 years ago. It was in 1999. I lived in France. I didn't watch it anyway because it was in French. My French wasn't that good. So shows were crazy, but and I didn't have TV, I didn't have cable.
There's a thank you to you, Michelle, for this discussion. We all went through this and felt so helpless. Being awake has been so difficult. Dealing with family, friends, people down awake and having to deal with it and having to back away from conversations to avoid serious arguments and discord. So it is
Eileen. Oh, and also what we had to do when we went into stores or restaurants and wouldn't wear one. And also, remember the time I told you I was at a grocery store and I didn't have, I was just, I didn't buy into it. And so someone turned back and around and was really mean and ugly to me. And at one point said, I hope you die.
Why would anybody say something like that? It's like, unbelievable. I had one encounter too, because I never did this either. And I was actually walking from my a store to my car. Where's your? And I just said, I'm medically exempt. It's none of your business.
You know what I said? I just said I'm not allowed. Because I wouldn't allow myself to suffocate myself. I mean, I didn't say there was any authority. I just said, I'm not allowed. And then one place said, you have to say medical. And I said, okay, medical. But, nope, didn't. And there was only like one place that it was a restaurant. I said, and they wouldn't, I said, you mean to tell me I have to wear a mask to get from this door to that table and then I don't have to wear it in order to come in?
I saw this meme the other day that said, "Can you believe when you think you feel stupid, just remember when they had those arrows going down the grocery hallways, and people actually thought that was going to save them from getting."
I ignored those too, and I got dirty.
I always went the opposite way on
Me
purpose.
too. Me too. Yeah, me too.
See, this is what people have got to. This is why they need to find their strength in their soul strength, their Christ light, and don't comply.
Right.
Stop complying.
Oh.
If we all stop complying, it will make a tremendous amount of difference.
Absolutely. And by the way, when that lady was being so mean to me, I said, Christ light, stand forth and take command. And this light came through me and shielded me. And I did not feel her vitriol, her hatred, because that's really bad, dark energy. And I protected my aura by calling forth the Christ light.
I like that. Say that again, how you say that. People might like to hear that again.
I said, Christ light, stand forth and take command. And I was protected by the light of my being, because you can wield your own Christ light. I've done it on many occasions. I don't stop and think about what anybody's going to think about me. I'm going to be protected. And I've used that, several times. So that did work.
It is nice to see how this is a lot is backfiring on them right now and exposing them. And now it's happening at an even faster rate.
It is.
They try to pull something off and it just backfires and doesn't. Look what's happening with all these stupid court cases, which is a joke if I've ever seen one. They're falling apart one by one.
Some of the backfiring, is not so funny, but it's like, like a lot of people, I saw a bunch of times when people were making very rude comments to people who hadn't done this, and it showed their rude comment, and then the next thing it showed their they had passed. A lot of the mean ones passed from it.
Some of the ones that came out on publicly and said, well, you got to go do this. You got to do this. If you don't do this, you're this, that, or the other thing. And what happens? Not long afterwards, they end up dying suddenly.
Yeah. A lot of them were saying things like they should be incarcerated. They should be this, that, and the other, like they were thinking of really mean things of what could happen to people who didn't do this. It's really
amazing how mean-spirited people can be sometimes. That's something I never understood either. But and Kathy's saying, and I still see people wearing them here too. And I really feel sad when I see people doing that. I'm tempted to say something, and then I usually back off. And I just, that's making it worse. You're not supposed to breathe your exhaust.
I know. Well, I put up signs. I did it. I put it on the back of bathroom doors. I put up signs in different places. Believe me, I tried to spread the word. And one time I was at this department store and I didn't have one on, and I was standing in line, and this lady kept looking at me, and I thought, oh, wow, I wonder if she's going to say something to me mean or something. Instead of saying something mean, she took hers off. She saw me with mine off, and she took hers off.
Did that give her the courage to take her own off?
Yes.
Because she was doing it because she was told to do it.
She stared at me for a little while, and I thought she might be, getting ready to be mean, and she just took hers off. Wow. And so when I went up to cashier, I smiled at her, and she said something about, nice to see a smile, and she took hers off to smile back at me. So, sometimes we set an example. And even now,
courage is contagious. Courage is contagious, not courageous. It really is, because that's like when somebody gets a standing ovation, right? First one person stands up, then another person stands up, then everybody stands up, because the first few people had the guts to stand up before anybody else did. Let me put it that way. Yeah. And that just feeds everybody else. So when you have the gumption to stand up for what you really believe in,
there's some more interesting comments
here. It affects other people, and they wanted to keep us 6 feet apart too, so that our auras couldn't interact. So my aura, being the way I am about these things, wasn't going to have a chance to interfere or affect yours.
Well, I hung out with a group of people that never did this, and we had potlucks and we were hugging, and we weren't even closed down that much in Florida, but we hugged. And anyway, I went to hug somebody else, not in the group, one time, and they stepped back like, oh, like I was going to commit a crime, and I was like, oh, sorry, I forgot. But I'm a hugger.
Okay, Short Order Cook says the police in Australia were calling us criminals and had a hotline for people to report on others. Isn't that awful? I hate that kind of thing. To think that you would want to get your neighbor in trouble, or your friend or relative or anything like that, is just really mean-spirited.
I saw some really mean police, like tackling a girl for not wearing a mask, and basically assaulting her terribly for not wearing a mask. In Australia, there was definitely at least one in Australia, and then also in other parts of the world. You saw these.
The Sedona cops, who also did what they did to me with the car, did the same thing to some man in Natural Grocers who didn't have this on his face. Literally tackled him.
Wow.
I hope he's suing him right now. I don't know. His name was Matthew. But that's
the thing too. A lot of lawsuits now.
Now, a cop, if he has any inkling about the Constitution at all, should know better. But most of them don't, unfortunately. Here's the other thing too: the 6 feet under, 6 feet apart, 666.
I know. Right. All those sixes.
Oh my gosh. They are really bad in Australia. I don't know why they're so bad in Australia. I've been watching some of the stuff going on there. It's like I would be hiding out. They went to a pregnant woman's home and arrested her. Are you kidding me? You know what? I have to ask, are those police real, or are they androids, or are they some kind of soulless demonic being?
Well, they were indoctrinated and went along. There's Kathy and Betsy. Betsy said, I just tell them, what are you afraid of? Fresh air? Right.
What were I was somewhat you. Oh yeah, but you're afraid of fresh air. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kathy, yes, I even told people you don't have to wear it if you don't want to. Pure and simple.
Yeah. Oh, I was called out. I was called out one time in a line at I was at UPS store or USPS, one of them. Anyway, I was in line. I didn't have one on, and somebody over there, I did the same thing you did. I said, you don't have to wear one. It's not a law. A mandate is not a law.
No. Oh, but listen to this. I went to an AT&T store, and they told me I couldn't get service inside if I didn't wear one. I said, well, I'm not wearing one. They came out to the parking lot and brought the paperwork, and I did everything in the parking lot.
I did the same thing at a bank. I left that credit union. I said, well, I'm not coming in because I'm not putting on one of those things. I'm not putting it on. If you want to meet me outside, that's okay. But I'm not putting it on, and I'm not coming in with one on, and you're not giving me one to put on either. And they came outside. And
another outside story is a bunch of my family came down to Florida for vacation. There was probably about 9 of us, and I was the only one that wouldn't wear one. And so the hostess was going to take us to our table, and you were going to go through a restaurant to an outdoor seating area, and I wouldn't wear one. And so I got an escort around the side of the restaurant, but never put one on.
How are these people going to feel when they I guess they're finding out the real truth now, but I do like, I think it was Betsy was saying before, I see some, or Kathy, see some people now that are starting to put them on again. And I think they're programmed by the TV.
Yeah. More and more, I just think you can tell how much people watch TV by their mindset and their compliance. Yeah.
That's the problem. You know, somebody said to me, this was regarding the car in the right to travel, which we do not have. We don't have the right to travel as stated in our Constitution and Bill of Rights.
Well, you're just saying that they don't uphold that, but we do have the right, but our rights have been trampled on.
But technically we don't, because if you do not have your paperwork, your insurance, your registration, if you don't have those things, they feel free to stop you and have their way with you, basically, and charge you lots of money and so on. So you're not really free to travel unencumbered.
Well, I know a
as
handful
originally
of people that don't comply with any of that. And one of my friends, you know, they would try to take him to court, and he always won in court, or didn't show up, and he never paid. You know, he didn't have, you know. And I know people right here, no insurance, no license, and just, you know, practice their sovereignty. And
well, they're fine until they get stopped.
Well, they've been stopped. A lot of people have been stopped, and they somehow know what to say, or, you know, get through it.
No, you know what? I don't think it has as much to do with knowing what to say as who stops you. Because the attitude of the cop makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Because I got stopped by one, he didn't do anything. Okay. He just, I think he just handed me, I don't know if he handed me a ticket and I sent it back. Okay. But he didn't impound the car. He didn't feel he had to arrest me or anything like that. Now then I get stopped by somebody else for essentially the same thing. And what happens? They're brutal. And slam me up, pull me out of the car, slam me up against the car, and handcuff me and take me in the station. Over registration expired on your car? Are you kidding me?
That's
tyranny.
It is tyranny. It's the deep state takeover on many levels. And as you know, it happened to me too. I was assaulted and my rights were violated, and it's happened to many, many people. And it's, you know, our rights have been violated, period, by tyrannical people. But believe me, this is what we signed up for, and we keep standing for the light. And guess who wins in the end? We do.
Well, you know what somebody said to me after this has happened to me a couple times now? They said, well, isn't it just easier to just comply? Yes, it's easier to comply. It is. That doesn't change anything, though. That got us where we are today. From complying to things that we knew were against what our unalienable rights.
Yeah, it's definitely a process. You know, sometimes you just choose your battles, and but when it comes to your health, you know, who's going to take a death shot, and who's going to, you know, stop from breathing? And, you know, there are certain things that you can do. And I have guidance that have had me make certain decisions that to the average, quote, normal, quote, typical person would have thought, you can't do that. This will happen to you, or that will happen to you. It never did happen to me in over 20 years.
That's awesome. Yeah. Anyway, Jay Thought says, I think the more light worker you embody, the more it changes the way you speak and the words you choose. That makes sense.
Yeah. So back to the mission. So when watching that video, it sort of puts everything in a whole new, bigger context. You know what I mean? Everything, all of us watching this and having a conversation together, we have the bigger context. We know that we came here. Everything we've been through has a purpose. And in fact, all the stuff we've been going through, I remember I was going through one extreme difficulty after the next. And a friend of mine who was another daily meditator said, to God, what are you doing to her? And she said she got the answer. And he said, or she said, I'm strengthening her. So you get stronger when you go through these things. And, we choose it. We signed up for it. We don't think we do, because I'm telling you, that period of time in my life, it was like, I was like, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. All these things could have killed me, to tell you the truth. Certain things I was going through, definitely life and death situations. So with that, when you're ready, remember, I have a little book called Overcome, and we are here to overcome, live through and move through all of these difficult life experiences. And, everybody has been through stuff, and we can have compassion for one another as we,
and we can back up each other. That's another thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see somebody being mistreated out there on the street by a cop or something like that. Get your phone out and videotape it. That can make a big difference right there. That could help that person a lot, because there are abusive cops out there.
That's actually what I got arrested for, videotaping. I
knew that was going to come up. I knew that was going to come up because I remember that. Yeah. That was your little. You'll have to tell that story sometime.
Yeah, I mean, we do have. That's part of our free speech. That is a right. It's a First Amendment right. And then the other thing they did was they searched my purse, and there was no probable cause and no reason. They didn't find anything, but they didn't have any right going through my purse.
They exactly. They just act like they can do whatever they want. They have the authority to do whatever. That's what they did to me too when that time with that traffic stop. They went through my purse. They went through my car and impounded it.
They handcuffed me behind my back and dragged me along the sidewalk. They injured my wrist.
They dragged you on the ground. Your body was on the ground.
My boots were all frayed and frazzled. And yep. Believe me, I physically assaulted and traumatized for sure. Okay, let's play Overcome. I'd rather talk about overcoming it.
Okay, yes, let's overcome it. But would you address this question real quick first?
Oh, sure.
Is there a difference between Lightworker and Starseed? And can you define the difference?
No, I think there's a lot of words that are being used interchangeably. Lightworker, Light Warrior, Starseed, Paradigm Pioneer, Black Sheep. It's all pretty much the volunteers. I don't think there is a difference.
Okay, that being said, let's, I can share the screen on this one. Or did you want to do it?
I've got this. It's, oops.
I've got it right here.
Oops.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
That's not the right one, is it?
No. Share screen. Oops, share screen. Okay, there we go. The center tab. I just clicked on the wrong thing. There, that's it. Okay, I'll make it big and start it from the beginning. Oops. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was at the end. Okay, here we go.
Overcome by Michelle Marie Angel. For everything we've overcome, so much more have we become. Life has a purpose. It is to overcome. In the end, we'll be wiser and stronger when it's done. We are born of spirit. Death cannot touch. Our essence is eternal, and we are loved so much. Every life experience has a valuable lesson. Every time we overcome, there's a gift, a blessing. When we break down from life's heavy burden, we can bend our knee to God for love that is certain. The key to overcoming is to find God in our heart,
To admit our need and dependence, this is the start. From where do we receive life? From where do we come? Whom do we answer to when we are done? Our hearts know the answer. There we find what's true. Inside, when we are humble, we find life's meaning too. We must first love God, our loving, intelligent creator. Keeping God as center, life could not be greater. Just like the phoenix or the rising sun, we're forgiven and uplifted no matter what we've done. Watch for those who mislead you, the wolf within the sheep. Overcome immorality with conscience. Listen deep. With renewal and encouragement, we can get on track. We can always rebuild our life and get our self-worth back. God knows the good deeds that you have done. By your faith and perseverance, many hearts you've won. We can surrender tough problems that we face. We can be transformed through God's listening grace. When we lose a loved one, our heart breaks inside, but we can overcome our grief with love that hasn't died. God lives in each one of us, and when you see that's true, you will recognize that love when people are helping you. Whether you live in poverty or suffer from addiction, remember wealth of spirit can overcome affliction. You are building character the more you overcome. Feel your inner strength grow from each obstacle you've won. Don't listen to bad influences or give your energy away. Don't let anyone steal your soul who just wants their way. Keep your life sacred by living what is true. When you stand in your integrity, you are loving you. Overcome with insights you get from tuning in. Be receptive to heavenly gifts from God within. Yield to the light of wisdom. Bask in that ray. Wake up to the truth and you will find your way. Overcome all challenges and become a pillar of light. Your strength and wisdom can help others in their plight. Keep your faith strong. Know that love is true. Don't ever give up. God is watching over you. To those that overcome and live to do God's will, the morning star of happiness is eternally fulfilled. The end is only the beginning when you open your heart. For more inspirational messages, please go to Smile, Spiritual Miracles, Intentional Living Education, www.smileforlove.com. God bless you.
Okay. Kathy, you're asking about rehearing the Pleiadian message. It's in the description. It's also in the chat here. So the link is here. And if you don't see it in this chat, it's in the description of this video and on Rumble, YouTube, or whatever channel you're watching on. So yeah, that was a really good message. I really liked how they put that together. Very good. And you get an applause from Short Order Cook.
Thank you. Thank you. And a thank you from Clarity Comes from Contrast. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, you got a couple of emails coming your way, Michelle.
Oh, good. That's good. Okay. That's
if you would, when it happens, in case I forget, make sure you please remind me.
okay.
Because I want to be there too.
Okay.
And I don't know, my memory has been giving me a hard time lately. In other words, I seem like I can't remember anything.
Well, we are going through a lot of shifts right now. Integration, being tired, things coming up for healing. We're going through an intense energy shift right now.
Yes, we are. Totally enjoyed this show today. Thank you, Betsy. We appreciate that very much.
Thank you. Yeah, because we're all going through this stuff, and it's so cool to talk to other people that are also going through it. You know, like how many people have I talked to that are the only ones in their family, you know? Or, you know, talk to people that, you know, they don't have anyone to talk to about stuff, you know, that on a certain level that, you know, some people you just can't even broach certain subjects, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
To keep the peace, you know.
Yeah. I wonder, they're going to have a real hard time when the real shift happens.
Yeah, there's going to be accountability. There's no doubt about that.
So, is there any other topic?
I think just some encouragement for humanity. Just know that
that's encouraging, Kathy, by the way. I'm not coming down with Alzheimer's or something like that.
Hey, I always take notes and make lists. I always have. Yeah. Okay, so just remember that, you know, we are eternal beings of light. We are here on a mission. We are brothers and sisters. We are family here to talk and support each other. And, you know, there's that link where you can actually, you know, meet people and everybody gets to talk on the Starseeds and Light Warriors meetup, which is a Zoom, 1 hour Zoom meeting. So anybody can be anywhere. And I just send the link through to your email and you just show up that way. We're going to be having reunions. We have Star Family. We'll have Star Family reunions. Souls that you resonate with, you know, after being separated from those that don't resonate with you. Like right now, we're having reunions. People that we get along with, we're sort of on the same wavelength. We are creating unity and peace and love in our world. We're staying on the positive side of things. We're being empowered and enlightened and, you know, supported and protected. And we know that more and more. I think less people feel lost and alone now than ever before because, you know, we're all coming out. We're all coming out to help each other and find each other.
I see that happening. I see more and more light workers coming together. Light workers, Starseeds, people that have increased their awareness. And when they get together with others that have, you know, an increased awareness, it permeates between people, and it brings everybody around.
And one thing to remember is that we're in a place where we are here to cooperate, not compete. And so people that are on the competition level, they might be stuck in the material world, but we are spiritual beings. We're here for a spiritual purpose, and we do have wealth of spirit, and the strong light that we are, we can wield that light and stand in our strength and our sovereignty. Stand in that. Also, we're going to start doing a lot more manifesting things. I'm actually teaching a manifesting class in June. One of them is local and in person, and another one is a Zoom manifesting class. So we need to exercise that manifesting muscle and realize that we are creators and not victims, and start manifesting everything. And an example, I have to tell you the funniest thing in the whole wide world. And so I'm manifesting waves of prosperity, and I'm using the repetition, the term waves of prosperity. I go to the beach just a couple days ago, and I start to wade into the ocean, and this dollar bill floats straight toward me.
Really?
Yes. And it was like, okay, this is a sign from the universe. Just in my meditation, I was affirming waves of prosperity, and a dollar bill literally comes straight to me when I walk into the ocean. I pick that thing up, and I have a little, you know, box with special things. And I wrote on there waves of prosperity and the date. And, you know, when our superpowers come back, we can replicate things anyway. And I actually have used this. Try this method, everybody, because this is really cool. Get a pile of either money or checks or anything, put your hands over it, close your eyes, and say, you know, I love you, God, because remember, everything is God, the money. So we can lose all the negative concepts about money and know that God is in everything. and just put your hands over the money and think, I love you, God, and send energy, love, and gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I did this once, and the very next day, I received more money, and I had a small check, and I received a bigger check. So I do this. I'll get, money out that I have. And I did that with this dollar bill. I'm like, this is a seed, and the amount is going to grow.
That was a sign from the universe.
It definitely was a sign from the universe. And the other technique that I thought of and started using is move the decimal. So I'm telling my guides, my angels, my helpers, I'm seeing my bank account and I'm moving the decimal. You can turn 100 into 1,000. You can turn 1,000 into 10,000. Everything's done with your imagination. And this one is called move the decimal. So try the love and gratitude with your hands over cash, and then try the move the decimal thing. So I have all kinds of things, and that's why I'm going to teach, some manifesting, because I've been doing it for years. Group consciousness is exponentially more powerful, and we have success stories on my Smile Soul Power YouTube channel. I have a success stories video, and I talk about all these specific times that I've used different manifesting techniques, and that it happened. And I know everybody has these stories because we're all creators, but we just have to remember to use it every day. Intention and visioning.
They never taught us that we're creators of our own reality.
That's why I'm here. It's my mission. Hello. That's one of the parts of my mission.
Yes.
Manifestors, and really, getting people to believe it and understand it and trust it and use it. You can know it, but if you don't use it, what good will it do? You got to actually apply, the mental affirmations and the heartfelt belief and understanding of how energy works. And this is physics. It is physics, and it works. And the more you do it and the more you see results, you're going to get results. You're going to get results, like reliable results, because it's like an energy recipe. You put all the pieces of the recipe together and you're going to get results.
Well, Clarity, wait a minute. Yeah. Whoops, wrong one. Clarity was saying, how true. Be sure that you email Michelle and get a guest pass for being on the show today. So
yeah, the guest pass is for the Starseeds. I haven't done anything about the manifesting class. The two, it's like 2 classes on a Tuesday, Zoom calls. But I think that we have a little club here on Gail of Gaia, and I'll do promo codes or discount for Gail of Gaia guests. We'll make our own little club here.
Yeah, we're a tribe. We're a tribe. Yeah, we're a tribe. So that being said, is there anything else you wanted to bring to the light, Michelle?
No, I'm just so happy that we're all together, and I am so happy that we're going to be together more with the.
I am so delighted that you found that video, because it's very moving, and it's really touching people's hearts, and that's a wonderful thing.
I encourage people to watch the whole thing more than once, and then sit down with a journal and start looking at your blueprint, asking your guides and angels for answers. What's my next step? What is my blueprint? What is my purpose? Who is my audience? Get details, and just write down all your questions and any impressions you get, and then watch for synchronicities. And, like the universe answering, like that dollar coming to me through a wave of ocean water.
Another one is repeating numbers. Angel numbers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Feathers. Angel little feathers sometimes too.
I just got a gold tip feather on Saturday someone gave me.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. I mean, we're here. We're brothers and sisters. We're unified. I think like that's the best thing in the world. We know we've been overcoming things, and it's almost like you can take a breath.
There will be lots of sun with a high of 80.
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry, that's my radio.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we're just happy. It's great. Everything's great.
All right. I did the stuff. I'm interested in joining your club. We're happy to have you a member of the club.
Yay.
Yippee-ki-yay. Alrighty. Well, I think that being said, we're good. We covered just about everything. Be sure and watch that whole video. You will love it. And we'll see you again probably next week sometime.
Yeah. Kathy has a nice comment that we can end with. That'd be great.
Oh, I didn't see that. I had to go to a different part to end. Okay. Oh. Thank you both so much. Love is the key. Always. Yes,
Love
it is.
is the key.
Love is the key.
Yep. Okay. Well.
Oh, yeah. My heart's kind of bad, but.
Love you. Everybody.
One finger doesn't bend.
God bless. And thank you, Gail, so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating, and thank you for being here. And please like and share the video for the algorithm, because they do try to shadow ban my shows. So I appreciate it if you would do that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show